everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Artist Highlight interview. Today we have C.W. Allen here in the house to chat a
What's
little
up,
bit.
bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Yeah, nice. Well, the first thing I want to say is congratulations on the baby.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, on the baby girl.
She's super dope.
What's her name?
She's fine. Araya.
Araya?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Like Mariah, but with an A. Araya.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. How old is she now?
9 months.
9 months.
She like pulling herself up on everything and trying to crawl up the stairs when I turn my back. I mean, she
ready. She ready,
bro. Yeah, you know all about that life.
Yeah, man, it's insane. Now, the first one, he started walking the week before he turned 1.
Okay.
And the second one, he started walking like maybe a month or 2 after he turned 1. You know,
Okay.
so like it's all completely different. So, but that was our first kid. So we're sitting there like man, is he good? Like, why he not walking yet? Whatever, you know. Completely.
Your legs work? Motion fast?
Like, dude, why you not walking? Because the first one, he's just fast with everything, you know. So, yeah, but we just like, okay, they all just different. So he good, you know. It was crazy. But yeah, man. So what's been going on? How's you guys are all in Chicago right now, right?
We are, yeah. We stay in the South Shore community. So we bought a crib over here and we've been planning almost, well, we got planted at the top of the year in January. So we've been here for a little bit now. Yeah, but we used to live in Woodlawn.
Okay, yeah.
So I've been there about 10 years. Yeah.
And that's close to Hyde Park, right? That's like a little south of Hyde Park.
It is, yep. So Hyde Park is the next community over from it.
Yeah, we used to live on 53rd. So
okay, yeah.
Were you guys there? We were there in 2014 to 2015.
We was there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So we were close. That's what's up. Yeah, man. So, but has it been being, we're all quarantined here in Chicago right now. So,
yeah,
how's that been for you guys?
Initially, that was real tough because we both were working full time from the crib with the baby, who, you know, at the time she wasn't crawling. Mm-hmm. She was, you know, depending on us to hold her or, manage her. So you never fully can work full time, just trying to figure it out. So then I got my gig plus, you know, music in a sense is full time for me a lot too. So it was just nuts.
Yeah. But is everything a little bit more balanced and settled now?
It is. I mean, I'm getting out a little more because I've been, you know, doing a lot of stuff in the community, like feeding, helping feed folks, and just doing a lot of work in the community. So I've been out doing that. But then also, I'm doing little things like taking her on walks with the stroller, and you know, getting out and. You know, I'm like a frequent at Home Depot.
Right.
I've been doing.
We literally just came back from Home Depot, like right now.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah. It's essential. So I've been building a lot in the backyard and just getting the thing together. So, you know, stuff like that helps, you know, detract from the situation at hand. But, you know, to some degree, you still like can't do shows. It's just kind of like, unless it's online, it's just really, really confined. And if you're an extrovert, it's like, you know, I'm an extrovert. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. So I'm like, where the action?
Dude, yes, we're the same way, dude. I mean, I keep telling Gabby, I'm like, babe, like, cause you know, we're starting this business and you got to cultivate it and spend some time here. I'm like, I'm ready to get back out there and keep performing and stuff. You know, we've been doing the stuff online, just kind of start building it. Then once it can start walking on its own, then, you know, I want to, you know, get back out there and start performing. Cause I'm like, man, sitting here in the house, man, yeah, it's rough.
I get it.
That's cool, man. But yeah, so for anyone who's just like tuning in and stuff, at the time that we're shooting this, right now there is a pandemic that's going around called the coronavirus. If you were checking this out months later, at this time, people all over, it's global. People have been quarantined, having to stay home just to stay healthy, away from any type of airborne type things and stuff. So that's pretty much what we're discussing right now. But yeah, man, it looks like the light is at the end of the tunnel. Kind of like they open things back up, you know, the mall.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's just so many people reckless though, man. Like, you know, refusing to wear masks, you know, public hall and upset about, you know, it's just, I just don't know. I know they're saying a second wave, but they're actually talking about a third wave now. and it's not really our generation, it's the generation right under us who are like, well, it ain't gonna kill me, so mask it up. And you getting people sick, food still want to go to the beach. So it's just, I'm optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic because I just feel like Americans are so much fight for freedoms that aren't even necessary in that moment, so much that we just want to be free from everything that it might come back to bite us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you actually kind of perfectly segued to what I want to talk about, like the whole thing of freedoms and rights, and our whole justice system right now in the country and stuff. I wanted to kind of pivot and talk about that with you too. The idea of some of the stuff, like you said, that we fight for is not that big a deal, like as opposed to things that we really need to be focusing on,
right,
and everything like that. So, like, just even with the Black Lives Matter movement, the marching, the protesting, all of that stuff. Has your family been dealing with this situation?
We've been managing, man. I went to a couple protests, and I think for me, all of it cracked off with the coronavirus because I do a job. I work for a ministry called Sunshine Gospel, and I'm the director of a program called Bridge Builders. So these conversations are like all year for me with different folks, especially white folks, like a lot of white churches and Christian folks who are trying to understand justice and equality from a biblical lens. So for me, with coronavirus is when it cracked, because we knew, there's a saying that when America catches a cold or gets the flu, Black America gets pneumonia. And so we already knew, because we in a, predominantly low income at risk neighborhood, that we were going to get hit hard by the COVID because people can't afford to stay home, right? Like our median income is $24,000 a family. And that could be a family of 4 or 5, which is well below the poverty line. And so you think about people who make that amount of money, those jobs don't allow you to take off. You don't have a lot of sick days. You don't have, some of the amenities that someone on salary making more would. And so what we saw was, statistics, 68% of the COVID cases in Chicago were African-American. And a lot of them were in communities like mine, West Woodlawn. So, the top of the month, everybody, go to the grocery store because your link card gets replenished so you can get your groceries. Everybody who hoarded over the month, who had money, those who didn't have couldn't do that, right? And so everybody packs in the grocery store at the first of the month. And so COVID is just able to run wild, You can't afford to stay home, so you get COVID. If you conserve resources and a lot of people live in the house, you can't, somebody brings it home, everybody gets it. And so, and we're more prone because we got diabetes and heart disease and things that are high blood pressure that are aligned with the Black community because of, food deserts and different scenarios that cause our health challenges. So, we knew it was going to be carbery. So that on top of, the George Floyd situation, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery was just, it was like the final straw that broke the camel's back. And so, I saw people looting right now, so there's a gas station, a house, and then my house. And on the corner, there's a beauty shop. There is a cell phone store and a liquor store. And they burnt down the beauty shop, took all the wigs, all that stuff. And I literally saw them pulling the grates off of the cell phone shop.
Oh, wow.
Like just looting. And, so it's all the grocery stores were demolished. I just rode past the one that opened back up. And there's a line, pretty much around the corner because it's the only one in the South Side community. That's right. People are like driving to Indiana to get groceries. It's just nuts. So I just think it's so many layers to this thing that it's like to even begin to even unpack it, you got to go back. And so for us, it's been business as usual. Like, I'm not shocked. I've been, telling people the signs of when riots happen and looting happened for the last 5-6 years. since the death of Mike Brown and doing some studying on that. And so for me, it was like, we were already at a tipping point. This was just it. Yeah. So, I mean, we managing though. We're living. To be honest, I think to some degree, in a lot of ways, my wife is a therapist and she thinks I'm kind of desensitized to a lot of it, which is probably true. I was at my fire pit in the backyard, drinking some wine and just chilling. And some gunshots went off. And she's like, "Did you hear them gunshots?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard them." And she's like, "Well, why are you still outside?" I'm like, "Well, I ain't finished my wine yet." Right. As silly as it is, it's still terrible that's like I don't even flinch when I hear it anymore.
Yeah, it's like the norm now. Yeah,
it's the norm, and that's I'm hoping that that's not a reality for our community.
And like social media, it doesn't really help in the sense of,
no, it doesn't.
We can read, like, it's just endless scrolling. So you read something that's gut wrenching, then the next thing is something funny, and then so we're kind of just jumping all these emotions like all over the place all day long. So It's like we can't even really just sit and bask in what's happening around us at times. Exactly, and then just like a whole bunch of stuff just kind of getting into our feeds again, and then life is kind of back to like normal again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's rough.
Yep, you're right.
But yeah, man, we're just praying for all of that, definitely, and all the victims and everything, their families, that God would just, bless them in the situation and just rise above it. But it is, an awesome thing is that this is the biggest civil rights movement at this time.
It is.
That they've said, just like it's gone global instead of just, the States like, 50 years ago.
That's right.
But this is good, man. Hopefully God does some transformative stuff in the hearts.
I think that will happen. And what's funny is that there's a lot of conservative white evangelical circles that are starting to see and understand and get it, but they're still new to the conversation. And so it's just pretty heavy in so many different levels. And what we're experiencing now, I think some of them, this is going to be like make or break for some of the ministries.
Yeah.
Some people won't last, because they'll do the justice thing and talk about it for a little bit. But eventually the microaggressions are going to come out. And then when you get checked, will you still stick with it or you going to quit? Because you have the privilege to run away, right? So I think it's just between that. I'm just in a place where I think every system that we can think of needs reform because it's all been entrenched with America's original sin of racism. The education, the way we educate in different communities, or one community versus another, the policing system, the way it's set up. I mean, original police were slave chasers, right? Like, the way we do business in Black communities, the one community that doesn't own its own community nowhere. It's just so many different angles to this thing. So I do see some things changing. I'm hopeful, but we'll see. This one seems like it's got a little bit more legs, like people actually pulling down statues and passing legislation that should have been passed.
Yeah, man. We can talk about this all day long.
I know, right?
But dude, let's talk about some music though, man. So
yeah, definitely.
You're an artist, hip hop Christian artist. Is that how you would label it?
That's fine. Yeah. I'm in and out of. I mean, I'm in Christian and non-Christian circles a lot. I write it in a way where anybody can kind of catch it and be like, "Yo, that applies to me." I get that. So,
nice. So what got you into music?
So I started rapping when I was 19. Was actually like a silent MC. I had no desire to share my music with anyone in public. And then a girlfriend I had, called me out on the bus in front of everybody, and was like, "See, Doug, telling y'all to do open mic, but he ain't gonna do nothing though. And he rap, and I'm sitting there with my notebook, like, oh shoot, And
that's when you broke up with her right there. I was like,
right. It was the beginning story of the story. Right. But I grew up in a community where hip hop was reverenced, right? Like hip hop is it. My era, you had Ja Rule, Busta, Cash Money, Wayne was starting to get hot. You had artists 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Eminem, Nelly, they all were there. T.I., Lil Flip, but they all were different. So like there was this diversity in hip hop, and everybody had a lane, and it was just like you could not copy. Like you had to come up with your own vibe, right? Yeah. So naturally that translated into our high school. So after school, every day, dudes would be battle rapping. It was like a civilized beating. Like that was, and people would crowd around a couple of guys who battle rap every day. Yep. And it was like the thing to do, like before the battle rap scene became hot. And so this is the same crowd that she's telling I can rap, right? Yeah. So I'm like, man, I don't rap like that, though. Right. And so, some homies egged it on, and they, I had to go ahead and drop something. So I dropped some bars, and they showed love. And so it was like, okay. And so I just like that, I was a rapper. So that's kind of when it started.
That's cool. That's so cool.
It was fun.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Nice. And then now you do a lot of you got some music that's out at the moment, right? It's funny, right here on the screen, for a hot second your thing just popped up.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you did that on purpose, but that was perfect timing.
It wasn't.
But since then, you've been writing your own stuff, and then you got some stuff coming out. You got Catalyst, and I know that you also said there's going to be a book coming out for that as well, right?
It is, yes. Yeah. I actually started.
Can you break down this whole project and what this is about?
That's right. Cool. Yep. So I started writing it around the time my daughter was born, and she was just such an inspiration. And then in Genesis chapter 5, there's this, the first book of the Bible. There's this family tree, this lineage, and all the lineages say the same thing. Such and such father, such and such at this age, and then they died. Same story, and we pass that stuff up in the Bible. Right. And then there's this one guy. It says Enoch, father Methuselah, when he was 65, and then he walked with God for 300 years, and then he ascended up, like he was taken up. It was so different than everybody else's. It didn't say he died; he was taken up, and it made a point to say he walked with God for 300 years. And we could assume some of them did the same thing, but it didn't say it specifically. So there was something special about this guy's life and his story. Yeah. And many scholars believe that his child, Methuselah, was a catalyst for change that caused a revival in his heart that made him a whole different person. Like it opened his eyes. He had a revelation, like life is bigger type of thing. And he walked with God because of it. And so my daughter in a different way was a catalyst for me like that. And then I began to think about different moments in my life that were catalysts that changed me. And so I began to just jot them down and write my story. And next thing I know, I was a month into, this big article, this essay of just reflecting. And then I had songs. So I just wrote an album and a book. I just took 2 months and did both of them. And
so you wrote the book within the same time frame.
I wrote them the same time. That's awesome, right. Man. Yeah. So I had 3 or 4 songs previously recorded that year in 2019, and I just rolled that EP over into the album, and then just kind of sonically finished it up, cleaned it up, and just added songs that kind of best spoke to this idea of being a catalyst. Yeah,
that's powerful, man. I love it.
Thanks, bro.
When is the book releasing? Like July, August?
Yeah, so you be the first person with the scoop. I had we went back and forth. I wanted to do July 17th, but the company has a back order on books because of the COVID thing. So it's looking like the top of August. But people can pre-order it now, and I'm going to send people who pre-order a copy of the ebook and the audio book free. So they'll you'll still have like the book in your hands well before it comes out. But the physical books will drop around that time.
That's what's up. That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, guys. And any of CW's links we're going to have at the bottom of this video on our channel. So you can click all of that, listen to his music and the book and all of that. So it's going to be great. Now, Starving Artist courses, our main thing. So we're always teaching music, multiple instruments. The free stuff is on YouTube, and then from there, they can sign up for memberships and do one-on-one classes and stuff like that. So all of this is for up-and-coming artists, people who really want to get into the field the industry that we're in. So do you have any words for any up-and-coming artists, whether it's in hip hop, spoken word, music, whatever, producing, anything?
Yeah, a few things. Really take time to learn your own sound and cultivate that. And the thing is, you can't practice day in and day out for a month or 2 months and think you're gonna just develop an ear. Though a lot of practice does develop muscle memory when you're playing your instrument and your ear, but it's something about just time that develops the ear in a way that you just can't fabricate it in a short period of time, no matter how many hours you think you're going to just put in. You'll just be exhausted. So just, continue to listen to music. Think about the music that you enjoy the most and allow that to naturally flow out of you. Not copying anyone's style, but really allowing those that you have grew up off of and those that you enjoy to influence your sound. And you'll naturally develop your own rhythm and cadence and voice and way that you play an instrument or whatnot. But it just takes time, man. Like I spent a lot of hours doing music when I started when I was 19. And, I even with all the hours I spent, I look back. And now at 33, I'm just so much better because I've got an opportunity to age and develop and step into my prime. That time is the only thing that can develop your sound and develop that. The next thing I would say is really get a good feel for the business. Like you should know the difference between sync royalties and mechanical royalties and licensing, right? Like the licensing royalties. Make sure you know what pro you want to go with and why you want to go with your professional rights organization. I think for musicians, it's like more CSAC. Just know the ins and outs of the business, because a lot of people have this dream. Like we watch the 5 Heartbeat sort of Temptation story. We have this imaginary idea that someone's going to catch us at an open mic and be like, I want to manage you, and just walk with us and teach us the steps and be our manager. And we're going to get signed and, the Michael Jackson story or something. But that's not a reality. Like labels and different people who can help thrust your music and put it in a lot of places, they're really actually looking for people who are already established. And I think Nipsey Hussle was a great example of that. Like he got offers for a deal, but like someone actually from the label told him, like, look, this deal isn't the best for you, but if you work, develop your brand and come back, you'll have more leveraging. So he could own his masters. And it's he could be able to say, if something happened to me, my family gonna still get residuals. So I think just kind of knowing the business and the ins and outs of it would just set you up. We always say 80% of what you do as an artist is the business. Only 20% is the stuff you really enjoy. So you need to pay your taxes. You don't want to get Lauryn Hill, right? Pay your taxes. Know your rights and the advantages that you have. How to write off a home office and set apart those spaces and things like that. So I just think, developing your sound, knowing the business, and then the last thing I would say is just really don't settle for just soft ticket stuff, but really develop yourself as a hard ticket artist as well. And what I mean by that is soft ticket artist is someone who might play at someone's open mic, or they are a person who does like a lot. If you're Christian, a lot of church shows. They have the anniversary and ask you to come do a couple joints during pastor's anniversary or whatever. Those are cool, but don't live off of that, because you need to develop yourself as a hard ticket artist, which means you sell tickets and you develop a market value.
Exactly.
And that means if in Chicago you sold 50 tickets and 50 people came to see you with your name on the ticket, that's your market value.
Exactly.
You need to do that locally. then regionally, and then you can think nationally. Because and some people are just called or just built for local or regional, and that's cool. Yeah. Like my whole thing has been regional pretty much, and you can still eat off that.
Yeah.
Chicago's a big place. If you live in somewhere like Chicago or LA or New York, you don't have to go anywhere outside without, outside of 3-4 hours of where you're at. And that's okay. But you want to be able to develop the market value so that when promoters do come or your favorite artist is looking for an opener, you can reasonably say, I can bring this amount of people to the show. Here's my value. But you can't do that with Soft Ticket because, you saying I brought 1,000 people to this open mic is deceiving. Because even if you wanted to feature artists, they were coming anyway because they wanted to be a part of the open mic or see other artists or get a cup of coffee and listen to music. You weren't the draw, right? Yeah. So I think those three things have been huge lessons for me, because when you develop a hard ticket in times like this, people who have developed a rhythm of paying and spending money with you and supporting you that way, they'll continue to support you when we go through a pandemic and shows at churches are canceled and all that stuff. Yep.
Man, thank you for those words of wisdom, man. That's on point. Man, dude, I appreciate you so much. We got to connect soon. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, everyone, if you guys want to hear more about CW and the amazing work that he's doing, check out the links that we have below and follow his pages, Instagram, his website, all of that stuff. Check it all out. And man, thank you so much, man. It's good to connect. I got to see that baby soon.
For sure, man. Yeah, man.
She's I appreciate you. But yeah, we'll talk soon, man.
Bro.
Love you, bro.
All right. Thanks for having me. Love you too, man. Thanks, bro. Peace.